Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are ready for our next session. This session will have, in all, we will have 6 speakers, and the session is being chaired by Mr. Bhavik Mehta of Vibgyor Agro Commodities Private Limited. Of the speakers for this session, we have Mr. Jahid Nagarwala yet again. Mr. Monik Vorra has joined us online. Mr. Boubacar Konta, Ideal Business, will be joining us on the stage. Mr. Robson Fonseca of Coplana will be joining us online. They are all presenting online, so the presentations are there. And Mr. Islam Bashir would also be joining us online. We do have a video message from Mr. Edoardo Fracanzani, the Argentine Peanut Chamber. As I start talking about my speakers, we will wait for some more people to come in, but I think this is just the right time for us to show a video message by the Executive Director of the Argentina Peanut Chamber. He has a BA in Political Science from the University of Torino, an MBA from the School of Management, University of Torino, also a PhD in Contemporary Politics from University of Rome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special video message from Mr. Edoardo M. Fracanzani of the Argentine Peanut Chamber.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Edoardo Fracanzani. I'm the Executive Director of the Argentina Peanut Chamber, and it's really an honor to be here with you at this World Sesame and Peanut Conference 2024. So I would like to thank the organizers of this event, Eventel, and as well as the China Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here today and represent the Argentina Peanut Chamber. So I will be talking a little bit about the Argentina crop this year. So I will share this brief presentation with you. Here we go, and we can look at the main figures of the season. So to start with, we have to say that there is a dramatic difference between the crop this year as compared to 2023. We had a major drought last year, which of course affected both the quality and the yields within the campaign. So this is a survey we ran among our associates just a couple of months ago. And you can see that according to the survey, the average quality of the campaign of the crop was either excellent or very good, with about almost 70%, while another 23-24% declares a good quality of the crop. So really an excellent result for this year, completely different from 2023. Looking at the yield, we can see that there's also a major difference. Now we're looking at this year at 2.48 tons per hectare in kernels, which is a great improvement from last year when we had 1.77 tons per hectare, also due to the drought. You can see here the same figures in shell, 3.5 tons per hectare, and which yields a total production as expected of a little more than 1.4 million tons in shell. You can also hear the evolution. I was mentioning last year's yield of 1.77 in kernel, which was particularly low. This year, of course, there is a completely different story with 2.48 tons per hectare, which is pretty much in line with the average of the last 5 years. So that's what we're looking at in 2024. This is our supply and demand table that we publish on our website. So you can see here the figures I just mentioned, the total planted area, planted and harvested, the average yield of 2.48. But you can also see our projection in terms of how the production will be used. So we're looking at about 73,000 tons for the internal market, as well as the shrinkage due to blanching operations. Another 120 and 85, tons for the production of oil, some 60,000 tons for the seeds of the following season, and the most important figure, 677,000 tons to be exported within the cycle. Just one remark, this yield of 2.48 was measured a couple of months ago. We're going to run a new survey, which will be final, will be very close to the actual number for the campaign in just a couple of weeks or so. And my sense is that our yield may be a little bit above that figure, definitely not worse. So we can take a look now at the main peanut area where peanuts are grown in Argentina. You can see that the main area is right in the middle of the country within the province of Cordoba, while also the province of Buenos Aires has a significant role. You can see here actually the percentage of each province. Cordoba, as I was mentioning, accounts for about 75% of the total. Buenos Aires is growing, has been growing the last few years, now accounts almost for 14% of the total, and then we have other provinces that participate as well in the peanut production. But you can see here the climate situation, and in particular a comparison by looking at maps provided by the Cereal Stock Exchange of Cordoba. You can see that the impact of rainfall in particular has been very important during the month of February, which is crucial for our crop. We had very relatively low rainfall in 2023, while a lot more generous in February of 2024. Okay, now a look at the exports of Argentina in the last few years. You can see in particular a significant difference between 2022 and 2023. This is due to the lower performance in terms of exports in the second half of 2023, again, a result of the drought which affected the crop last year. So we had about some 65,000 tons less in 2023, pretty much distributed throughout the second half of the year. Okay, there's a look at the geographic distribution of Argentina export. As you probably know, most of our exports go to the European Union countries, which account in this map. We have a display describing exports in 2022 and 2023. The distribution is quite similar, in fact, where the European Union accounts for about 65% of the total in both here. UK is also a very important market with 8 to 9%, depending on the year. And then we have other markets which we consider high quality. These are markets such as Australia, which is a important destination, New Zealand, Korea, and other countries. But we also have a significant impact of export to Russia and Ukraine, and other destinations, which in 2023 accounted for almost 20% of the total. Okay, so let's look now at the export from the opposite point of view, from the point of view of the European Union in terms of origins. You can see that Argentina is by far the origin with the highest market share in 2021 and 22. We reached 72 to 73% market share. This decreased significantly in 2023, where Argentina did remain by far the first origin, but with a lower market share, especially to the benefit or corresponding to a growth in export by the United States, which reached almost 12% last year, and other origins as well. Okay, so this is just to compare the period in 2022 and 2023. Now, a brief look at price trends in the last few years. It says the figures from the World Trade Organization by dividing the total tons exported and their value in US dollars. This figure regards only blanched and hand-picked selection peanuts within the 1202.42 harmonized system classification. You can see that the trends are quite similar for most of the origins, and with a significant increase in prices during 2023, probably due to the drought in Argentina and the consequent disbalance between peanut demand and supply in some key markets. Okay, these are just a few of the challenges and the direction that we're looking at for this year, the remainder of this year and next year. We have some uncertainty in terms of government policy, especially exchange rate policy, which has an impact on costs. You probably know that in Argentina there is a controlled tax rate from the Argentine peso to the dollar. The government wants to change this and liberalize the market to a good extent, but we don't yet know when would this be possible in terms of actual dates. In Argentina, traditionally, for many periods of time, we had the export taxes. These have been eliminated for the time being, and according to government declaration, they will not coming back. So this is good news for the sector. We're also expecting liberalization in terms of international trade, both as far as exports and imports are concerned. Imports of important elements for the production of peanuts are relevant, of course, and they can affect the cost in a very significant way. Talking about costs, one thing that we are looking at for this year planting season, as well as next year, is the cost of soil, which remains relatively high in Argentina. This will depend to a good extent on the competition among crops, so we'll pay a lot of attention to that in the coming months. And finally, as far as shipping and logistics is concerned, we're looking at a little bit of a tight market right now for sea freight, with to some extent lacking of containers and shipping lanes to satisfy the demands from Argentina to some destinations. Hopefully, this will improve in the next few months. Okay, now just a reminder, we started a couple of years ago to publish and distribute our World Peanut Magazine. You can find, I believe, good and relevant information for all peanut professionals in this magazine with a look at the long term to put problems that may affect the sector as much as possible in perspective. So I recommend you read it. It's totally free, and you can find it online throughout our website, the website of the Argentina Peanut Chamber. So thank you very much. It's been a great honor again to be with you here today, and have a great remainder of the event. Bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the message, the overview by Mr. Edoardo Fracanzani. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at a country-wise peanut crop review and outlook. Continuing now is going to be Mr. Monik Vorra of Anand Agro Commodities. Having done MBA in Marketing and Services, he's now heading Anand Agro Commodities as a broker indenting agent of agro products. Their company has a legacy of 75 years in agro sector, and Mr. Monik Vorra is a third generation entrepreneur taking this legacy forward. Mr. Monik Vorra, you are the session's chairperson and the audience is listening to you. You're on, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Monik Vorra from India. I'm mainly into brokerage of agri-commodities like peanut, sesame seed, and I'm the third generation taking forward this legacy of agri-commodities. We are having an experience of almost more than 75 years into groundnut, peanut, sesame seed. Let's start the presentation. I'll be giving you a summary of 2023-24 for the peanuts, groundnut, then the export analysis of last 3 years, sowing data of 2024, yields and production estimates for 2024, and overview for the 2024. The estimated production for 2023-24 was around 60 lakh metric tons in Kharif and 40 lakh metric tons for the Rabi. For the foreign delegates, I would make it simpler, like 6 million tons for the winter crop and 4 million tons for the summer crop. So the local consumption in India for the kernels is at around 24 lakh metric tons, which is like 2.4 million tons. As a kernels, we consume it as a table nut. We use it in gravies, we use it in chutneys and different processes. Then the oil consumption for the local is at around 50 lakh metric tons, which is around 5 million metric tons. India approximately exports around 7 lakh metric tons, which is like 0.7 million tons. Oil exports has been drastically increased since last 3 to 5 years, majorly exporting it to the China. So that demand is increasing year on year, and we exported around 1.2 lakh metric tons last year. And we are expecting some carry forward stocks of 5 lakh metric ton, which is again with low grade qualities at the moment. The major destinations for exports are Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, Russia. China is not buying at the moment, but in past years, China was again one of the biggest buyers for us. The major destinations for exports in last 3 years are Indonesia being the leader at around 221,000 metric tons, Vietnam being the second, 127,000 metric tons, followed by Malaysia, Philippines, and Thailand. Russia, again, some Middle East countries are also buying peanuts from India. European Union is also buying peanut from India, but the quantities are less. The export of groundnut and value-added products in last 3 years, if we just have an overview about that, the groundnut kernels exported in 2023-24 was somewhere around 7 lakh metric tons, which is like 0.7 million tons. Groundnut oil, as I said, is 120,000 tons. And blanched groundnut and peanut butter consists of 49 to 50,000 tons, which is increasing year on year. The value-added products are the call of the time, and India is gradually taking that pace ahead and started to export blanch and peanut butter on the majority of the site. But it is going to increase year on year from now onwards. That is what we see. Uh, Now let's come to the sowing area for this season 2024. There are majorly 4 to 5 regions where the winter, the Kharif crop is being sown, and the rest are of the Rabi, which comes in the summer. So Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and Maharashtra are the major growing areas for the Kharif season. And as we can see, the area of sowing is increasing this year by almost like 4 lakh to 5 lakh metric tons. Sorry, 4 lakh to 5 lakh hectares. And this is because due to the good price, and the major reason for farmers to be get converted from sesame seed to peanut is a good rainfall, which we are seeing since last 3 to 4 years. So the major conversion of farmers from sesame to peanuts is drastically what we can see from the data of the government. Now let's see the yields and production assumption. Yield for Kharif or the winter crop is always on the lower side because of the it is completely dependent on the rain. The Rabi, we get very good yields because that is completely controlled. The water, the weather is quite supportive at that point of time. Yields for this year, we are expecting around 1400 kgs per hectare. And on that basis, if we see, we are expecting a production of around 80 lakh metric tons of groundnut for the new season, which is coming starting from October. Rabi, we are expecting around 40 lakh metric tons. So in all, India will be somewhere around 12 million tons of groundnut in shell for this season if everything goes well. As far as the conditions are concerned, everything has been favorable so far, and farmers are putting all their efforts to get the good crop out of this season. Now, the overview for 2024 and 25, the increase in area and better yields are expected. That is because the increase in area has been came up in some of the states where farmers are getting more realization as compared to other products like cotton, maybe sesame seed, maybe soya bean. So peanut has been consistently doing good since last 3 to 4 years. So the conversion has been good. The weather has been supportive so far. The rain spells have been on the timely basis and with the proper gaps of sun and the support from the weather itself. The conversion from sesame to groundnut in Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh state has drastically been the talk of the town since last 3 years, and it is increasing drastically. That is because of the rain, which is again damaging the sesame crop in MP and UP since last 3 years. And farmers are now very happy to do the sowing of groundnut, and they are very positive about the outcome as well. The new varieties which the government of India and agriculture universities are developing are also helping farmers to do more sowing of peanuts. So farmers are more enthusiastically putting groundnut rather than other products. Now the overall global scenario, if we see, there is a very high risk of wars and everything. So the global instability will play a crucial role for the demand itself. But overall, we are expecting good demand coming out of India this year because the quality must be good, and we are expecting good prices for exporters and importers both. And the biggest challenge as of now for any agro processing industry is the logistic challenges due to war and this kind of things. The freight rates have highly increased, non-availability of containers, and high transit times. So it is going to have a big challenge as far as the shipments are concerned. But I think India is quite capable of dealing with all these kind of challenges. Thank you, all of you. Wishing all a healthy and a prosperous new season. Jai Bhagwan, that is what we call in India, with the great grace of God. Thank you.
Podium, please. Check. Thank you so much, Mr. Monik Vorra, sir. And we shall be having a combined question-answer session for all the panelists together. And as of now, I would request you to please stay online with us if possible. Right now, it's time for me to invite our next online speaker who's been waiting his turn, giving his overview, his country's overview of the peanut. Mr. Islam Bashir is an experienced business development manager with over 8 years in logistics and supply chain management, and has successfully led key operations in Sudan and Rwanda for Bayrony Group, focusing on cost efficiency, supply chain optimization, and stakeholder relations. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Islam Bashir is online with us, and he shall start his presentation now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Islam Baasher. I'm here on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce to present the Sudanese peanuts forecast for 2014 and 2024-2025 season. As you know, in Sudan, we have two varieties of peanuts. We have the Spanish one and we have the Ashford. The Spanish type represents around 90% of the production of the peanuts in Sudan in general. And it's mainly grown in the western region of Sudan, whereas the Ashford, the runner type, presents almost 10%, and it's grown in the central Sudanese states. For the peanuts production, in Sudan in general, we have three key related categories for peanuts. We have the peanut kernels, we have peanut oil, and peanut cake also in Sudan. These are the three main things that get produced from peanuts in general. If we look at the export in Sudan in 2023, it mentions around 90,000 tons has been exported, but that is due because we have missing data from January to June due to the war. So we don't have the data from that time. Only data we have is from June to December. If we look at the export numbers for 2024, it's around 257,000, and that's up to July. If you can notice that there's a big decrease in export numbers from the previous years, from the 450 to 440,000 levels, and that is mainly due to the war. A lot of the logistics have been affected. A lot of the oil crushing manufacturers have lost all their assets, and especially because the war started in Khartoum, so a lot of the main manufacturing areas was there. So that affected the export for the last 2 years, 2023 and 2024. If we look at the peanut production forecast for this season, we're only here focusing on the rain-fed areas because that presents 90% of the production. For the irrigated areas in Al Jazeera, where there has been heavy conflict since December, and the numbers there are not clear, or we're not sure how much farmers have actually started to grow over there. So for the peanut production for Spanish type, Darfur region is in the west. It represents around 60% of the whole production. 60% of it is farmed over there, and 40% in the Kordofan states. We're expecting around 2.7 million areas to be planted, 1.7 to be harvested, and around the production to be around 430,000 metric tons. The yield is around 0.25 per kg. Compared to the previous year, we see almost a decrease in yield of around 50%. That is due to a lot of issues, not able to getting labor to help with the harvest, lack of financial support due to infrastructures being destroyed and banks not being able to operate again. And obviously, these regions are heavy conflict regions, so it's hard to get input supplies and a lot of things in there for the farming. As I mentioned, we're expecting around the production for peanuts to be around 430,000 this year, with a carryover from last year around 77,000. So our estimated stock for this year around 500,000 metric ton. Half of it will be used for crushing, and half of it will be used as a Nagawa peanut kernel for export. Finally, if we look at the production number compared to last year, you can see almost a decrease of 30% or over. And even if we compare it from the year before, there's almost more than 50% decrease. This all is this all of this decrease in production is mainly due to the war. The heavy conflict has affected a lot of people. A lot of people have been displaced. A lot of companies' assets have been destroyed. Issues also logistically from getting the goods from the production area to the processing area is a big problem, and then getting it to the export city to get exported in Port Sudan is also a big issue that not only exporters are facing, but the whole production, the whole supply chain is facing problems with that. The cost of the logistics is getting very high. The cost of goods is getting very high. The cost of processing is very high. Logistics is an issue also for us when it comes to the sea because operations is a bit slower. All that being said, given that the international prices have not gone up a lot, has not helped with the peanuts export in general in Sudan. This is the map, as you can see on the right. The highlighted in brown, these are the areas where the peanuts, 90% of the peanuts has been grown. And the other map is a map shared by the UN where it shows where the conflict is and how many people are displaced in Sudan. And as you can see, there's a big correlation between the areas that the peanuts is grown and the conflict areas. So that is one of the main issues why we see a decrease in production, even decrease in export these days. For us, there's, as I mentioned throughout the presentation, we have a lot of challenges because of the war. A lot of this, as I mentioned, the cities experiencing intense conflicts because of the war, and that doesn't help with the distribution of production and safety of the workers. Private sector, I would say that almost 70 to 80% of all the oil processing manufacturers have been destroyed in the war, whether it was in Khartoum or Madani. And that has directly affected the supply chain. We're not able to process from shelled to unshelled as fast as we prefer. We're not able to get the goods from the production site to Port Sudan as fast as we prefer also. There's also banking constraints. Not a lot of banks are working again. They're not being able to give loans and funds to farmers to help them farm, given that there is a high risk that because these areas have heavy conflict, high risk of the crop being destroyed or not being produced. So there's a lot of issues. Also transportation. Not only there's a risk of losing your commodity when transporting it, or issues like that. There's also an issue of that to get the area. Some of the areas where the peanuts is produced is controlled by the RSF militia. So in order to get your goods through these areas into the Port Sudan, for example, you need to pay unofficial heavy taxes for that, and that adds to the cost even more. And so all of these things, all of these factors together have contributed to not only to the decrease in production and export, but also to the increase in cost of peanuts, which is affecting the peanut export in general in Sudan a lot. To conclude, as I have not shown the data for peanut oil or peanut cake because even getting this data for the export has been a bit difficult, given all the situations that happened. And we didn't see a lot of export of oil or peanut cake last year that much. I hope you found this presentation informative, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Islam Baasher, for sharing these numbers with us. I'm sure a lot of hard work went into it. Ladies and gentlemen, our final online speaker joining us is Mr. Robson Fonseca, Since 2014, he's responsible for the sales department of Coplana, which is a Brazilian cooperative of peanut growers. Coplana members plant over 25,000 hectares and export to over 30 countries. Over to you, Mr. Robson Fonseca.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for this invitation. I'm gonna share with you some figures here. So let me show you. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for this invitation. It's an honor for me to participate in this conference and bring you some information about Brazil. Well, this is the Brazilian map, and I would like to show you that the peanut production is very concentrated in São Paulo state, okay? More than 80% of the peanuts production is being in São Paulo state, and then some of them in Minas Gerais, Mato Grosso, and Mato Grosso do Sul, okay? We understand in our peanut number that Brazil is planting around 300,000 hectares in the last crop, and we are intending that this volume will increase in the next crop that we are preparing right now. Brazil is developing fast in the last 15 years. We are growing steadily, around 10-15% every single year. The only year that we have decreased the area in the last 15 years, it was in 2023 because of the war. Our main customers abroad is Russia, and at that time when we started the war, the prices went down, and then we have to reduce the area in Brazil because it was not so attractive. But then in the next crop, we again start moving up and increasing the area, okay? About exports, Brazil, 10 years ago, we had not more than 10, 12 exporters. Nowadays, we have more than 40 exporters. The varieties that we produce in Brazil, most of them, they are runner high lake, because this is the most demanded varieties to our main markets. Talking about the exports, the main destination, as I mentioned to you, is Russia, then Algeria, and then European Union, okay? In terms of peanut oil, Brazil also has an important number, almost 200,000 tons of peanut oil, 80% going to China and 20% to Italy.
Thank you, sir. Please be online with us. It's time for us to call our other panelists on the stage. And we shall be having a combined question-answer session for everyone together, including our online panelists. Mr. Fonseca is there, Mr. Vorra is there, Mr. Baasher is there. But for now, let me remind you of Slido once again. That is your tool to post your questions. I would now like to start inviting on chair formally. The session's chairperson is here with us, Mr. Bhavik Mehta. Mr. Bhavik Mehta is the founder and managing director of Vibgyor Agro Commodities Private Limited, and since founding Vibgyor, he has been instrumental in defining the strategic directions and spearheading the company's growth. He has an extensive background in international trade and a deep specialization in agricultural commodities brokerage. Our next panelist on the stage will be yet again Mr. Jahid Nagarwala. He has been introduced to you earlier in the last session. Our final guest joining us on the stage will be Mr. Boubacar Konta. Mr. Boubacar Konta is the PDG of Ideal Business Center, a factory working in peanut, sesame and cashew. He is the president of Senegal Cashews Interprofession, vice president of South Senegal Traders Union, Vice President of African Cashew Alliance, and he has a Master's in Banking and Finance in Bordeaux School of Management in Dakar and Master in Arabic and Civilization. I would like to invite all these three guests finally on the stage. Mr. Boubacar Konta, requesting you on the stage, sir. Also requesting our sessions chair, Bhavik sir, and of course, once again, a third guest on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to invite Mr. Jahid Nagarwala on the podium, following which it would... So Mr. Boubacar Konta first. Following him would be Mr. Jahid Nagarwala, and then of course, Bhavik sir takes all the questions and sums up with his remarks.
Bonjour tout le monde. I'm not very good in English, so I will try to speak in French. I hope some of you can understand French, or they will translate for you. Je vais parler un peu de l'arachide au Sénégal. Il faut savoir que l'arachide fait partie des produits les plus commercialisés au Sénégal et surtout les plus exportés. Donc, Sénégal, c'est un pays avec une superficie de 196 722 km, environ 17 millions de population selon la Banque mondiale en 2022. L'arachide est considéré comme le produit le mieux commercialisé ou exporté au niveau du Sénégal. Ça représente presque 80% des recettes d'exportation au niveau du Sénégal, avec 70% de revenus des paysans et près de 40% des recettes directes et indirectes du budget du Sénégal. Donc vous regardez un peu l'importance que l'arachide joue au niveau du Sénégal. La filière arachidière est une filière prioritaire qui, de façon essentielle, et produisent dans une zone qu'on appelle le bassin arachidier. Le bassin arachidier, c'est une région qui est composée de 4 à 5 régions, à savoir Kaolack, Fatick, Kaffrine, Tambacounda, et au sud, où il y a vraiment la Casamance, qui aussi est devenu le second bassin arachidier. Donc, si vous voulez vraiment trouver de l'arachide au Sénégal, il faut être dans ces deux zones-là. Ça veut dire que dans la zone du bassin arachidier qui se trouve à Kaolack et du sud. La production la transformation de l'arachide n'est pas d'un grand succès au niveau du Sénégal, parce qu'il faut juste dire que c'est l'industrie nationale qui est une industrie gouvernementale, la Sonacos, qui en transforme le plus. À côté de la Sonacos, il y a le Copéol, il y a le Wao, et certains villages qui jouent un peu de façon secondaire dans la production, à savoir dans les zones de Touba et dans d'autres zones de Taïba et Niassène. C'est ce qui intervient un peu de façon générale dans la transformation de l'arachide. Next slide. Donc la commercialisation de l'arachide est de façon officielle organisée à chaque année. À l'entame de chaque campagne, le gouvernement amène tous les acteurs vers une plateforme où ils discutent de façon officielle le prix de l'arachide. Donc toujours il y a un prix plancher qui est déterminé par le gouvernement pour connaître que ce prix, on ne peut pas vendre en dessous de ce prix. Si on prend l'année dernière, c'était un prix de 280 francs. Il faut y ajouter toujours un prix de taxe à l'export si on veut vraiment exporter. Donc, on a déclaré pour la campagne passée 1 500 000 tonnes, mais le constat est qu'à chaque fois, les objectifs ne sont pas atteints à 100%. 1 700 000 a été déclaré l'année dernière, mais on a constaté qu'il n'y a eu que 970 000 tonnes qui ont été vraiment collectées entre exportation, transformation et les opérateurs sémenciers. C'est pour ça, pour les perspectives de cette année, next slide, le gouvernement a constaté qu'il faudra contrôler la distribution des semences. Parce que c'est la distribution des semences qui font qu'on retrouve un résultat qui n'est pas trop conforme par rapport à ce qui a été déclaré en avance. Donc cette année, le fait marquant est que le Sénégal a confié la distribution des semences à l'armée. C'est l'armée qui s'est vraiment chargée de la distribution. Cela veut dire que cette année, on peut s'attendre à une production très importante de plus de 1 700 000 parce que les statistiques peuvent être vraiment conformées pour cette année. Mais ce qu'il faut retenir pour cette présente campagne, il se peut qu'il y ait des mesures de restriction parce que le gouvernement veut aller vraiment sur la transformation au niveau local. Ils veulent que les premières transformations puissent se faire au niveau local. Donc, pour cette présente campagne, les 1 700 000 tonnes, on verra qu'il y aura une partie qui va être garantie pour vraiment les industriels sénégalais. C'est pour dire que pour ceux qui veulent vraiment intervenir un peu dans l'arachide au niveau du Sénégal, il faut se préparer à avoir vraiment des blocus à un certain moment parce que c'est ça la politique de ce nouveau gouvernement. Donc, en quelques mots, voici ce que je voulais vraiment vous présenter sur l'arachide du Sénégal. En attendant vos questions pour aller plus au fond, j'ai évité un peu les statistiques parce que c'est des statistiques qui ne sont pas souvent fiables. Les statistiques qui sont déclarées de façon officielle, on a vu que dans la pratique, souvent, il y a des difficultés à confirmer ces statistiques. Donc, pour rester les 5 minutes, voici en quelques mots les différentes présentations que j'ai voulu vraiment vous partager avec vous en attendant vos questions dans les prochaines questions. Merci.
Thank you so much, sir. Merci beaucoup for your presentation. With this, I would now like to invite Mr. Jahid Nagarwala for the final live presentation of this session.
Once again, good noon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I would like to thank you, World Sesame and Peanut Conference Group, to inviting me for this wonderful opportunity to give my view on Mozambique and Tanzania peanuts in front of your excellent industry, excellent of the industries, peanut and sesame industries people. At same time, I already introduced our group. We are, since 20 years, we are doing the same trade of the sesame, peanut and pulses from Mozambique, Tanzania, Sudan, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. Today, let's start with highlights of Mozambique peanut crop, which already finished since last month. This year, Mozambique, normally Mozambique produce 40 to 50,000 tons of Java type, beautiful color peanut. Normally crops start in the month of May, June. This year, due to the bad weather, the production was poor and most of the cargo was sold for the local consumption. There was some export also happened, but it was not in compare of last year, it was not on the big volume. Current year export price for Mozambique, it was near about 1150 on higher level and traded lowest near about 1050 CIF level. Main market for the Mozambique peanut are Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, and also Vietnam. Now, if we say about quality of Mozambique peanut, Mozambique, we have Java type, beautiful pink color, but that's ungraded and lower in oil content. Mainly we use that for direct consumption, normally not suitable for the oil extractions. Another, Mozambique peanuts are very sensitive for the moisture content. It needs special expertise to handle the export shipments. Also, it is risky for the long transit shipments. Honestly, very few exporters are able to handle successful quality shipments until the destinations. Another things for Mozambique peanuts, we have SADC agreement with South Africa. So we are from Mozambique to South Africa, exports are under free duty. So we have a good buying from South Africa. That's it for Mozambique. Now let's move toward Tanzania peanuts. Tanzania normally produce 80 to 90,000 tons of red and pink skin peanuts. This year, it is a good production in comparison of last year. All red skin peanuts and some of the pink skin peanuts, they are used for the local consumption and also used for cross-border trade in neighboring country like Uganda, Burundi, Kenya and other neighboring country of Tanzania. And that's why most of the Tanzanian peanuts are not much economical for the exports. For the local consumption, farmers are getting better price. If we talk about pricing of Tanzanian peanuts, this year Tanzania peanuts traded lowest level of $880 C&F to $980. The price is quite very cheaper due to the some quality issues, also due to the high percentage of the split. If we talk about the quality of Tanzanian peanuts, Tanzania have two types of peanuts, red skin bold and pink skin Java. Both are beautiful in the colors, but same like Mozambique, it's ungraded and many times it comes with mixed quality. So for the export, it's difficult to separate the both of them. Sometimes red peanuts comes with mixed with the pink peanuts, and sometimes pink peanut cargo comes with red skin peanuts. So it's quite difficult for exporter to separate them. Same issues like Mozambique, very sensitive for moistures. Moisture contents are very high. Split contents are high. It's not easy to handle for exports. There are significant exports. There is a good numbers of export from Tanzania and Mozambique, but it's really need a good expertise to handle the export cargoes. Every year we seen a lot of complaints from destinations regarding moldy, regarding the quality issues, regarding moisture issues. So it's not easy for all exporters to handle successful export of Tanzanian and Mozambique peanuts. Farmers are getting better price from local consumption buyers. Farmers are getting better price from neighboring country. Countries buyers, normally they don't care too much for the quality. They accept the mixed colors. They accept the split cargoes. So for the export toward Indonesia, Malaysia, in compare of the Indonesia and Malaysia, they are getting a better price in local consumption. That is from my side. Thank you very much for the question answer. I'm available here. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nagarwala. I would request Bhavik sir to take over the session, your reviews, question answers, whichever way you wish to steer this, sir.
Hello. Hello everyone. How are you? First of all, thank you for organizing this conference of peanut and having discussion on peanut. And congratulations to all of you who won in casino yesterday. First question to Mr. Jahid. Mr. Jahid, what do you think about future prices of Mozambique peanut and Tanzania peanut?
See, at this moment, the both crops has finished, Mozambique and Tanzania. So we traded Mozambique 1150 lowest on 1050 level. Tanzania we traded 880 lowest, highest on 980. It was for this year. And before we comment anything for Mozambique and Tanzanian future price, one thing we have to understand, the Mozambique and Tanzania, we have to follow India market. Whatever the Indian markets, Indian peanuts markets are on the scenario, we have to follow them. Normally we sell Mozambique, Tanzania, $40–50 cheaper than Indian market, Indian peanut, Indian Java and Indian TGS.
Mr. Jahid, as we know that Mozambique and Tanzania is producing peanut since last few years. So what do you think about future markets like Europe or other any premium segment?
See, when we talk about Africa, especially Mozambique, Tanzania, our farmers are working with a lot of uncertainties. We have a lot of limitations. Of course, our African farmers are very, very hard worker. They are working very hard to grow the peanut. But due to the lack of facility, lack of the knowledge, lack of the infrastructures, we are not able to produce European standard peanut quality or American standard or other higher premium market standards. Unfortunately, our farmers are not knowledge for that one.
Okay, Mr. Jahid, as you said that there are less chances of these things. So for the markets where Mozambique and Tanzania peanuts already going, like Indonesia and other markets, like you said, Vietnam also. So why don't in Mozambique there are big factories like India has been installed and trying to improve quality or production also?
See, we for the Mozambique or Tanzania peanuts, when we export, we have to follow the India market, especially Indian TJ quality. We have to offer our peanut on similar to Indian TJ or cheaper than Indian TJ. Then only the buyer will accept our quality. When we use big machines, some organized factories, then our costs are increasing. So if it increase our cost, we are not able to compete Indian TJ. If we offer our price higher than Indian TJ, definitely buyer won't accept. They will go for the India. So these things are most of the factories are not developed. We also tried a lot. We also installed some machines, but end of the day, it's not economical for the exporters.
Mr. Konta, next question for you. We heard about this export duty from Senegal a few years back. So what are the chances of any export duties or any government restriction in export peanut from Senegal?
I think this year the government will try to make some restriction in the export peanut from Senegal, because the political is like they want to make the industry of the oil in Senegal up. So of course it will have some taxes for the exportation peanut and some restriction to take out the peanut from Senegal, to export the peanut this year. Before I come, I was with the agriculture minister to visit some factories of Sonacos. Sonacos is the main factory processing in Senegal, to see if they can buy most of the peanuts. But what I think so, the Senegalese factories are not ready to buy a lot of percentage. But in the beginning, yes, they will try to block, to let the oil factories to have their capacity, to get their capacity, and then to open the market for China's exportation. Yes.
As we all know that majority of the Senegal peanut is going to China. So is there any other market you are means for Senegal peanut which is going to be emerged in next few years?
Yes, most of the peanuts of Senegal is exported to China. They have some Indian factory, but I think they process in Senegal or they export also to China. But because of the presence of the aflatoxin, the peanuts have a lot of problem to be exported in others. Before, the peanut was exported in European countries, but now most of the peanut is coming in China, yes.
As we all know that majority of the China buyers having their own setup in Senegal. So do you think Senegal exporters will come front and there will be more exporter of Senegal itself?
Yes, with this new government, most of the things will be changed in Senegal. Even the exportation, maybe you will need to pass by one of the Senegalese company to export. The presence of the Chinese also in Senegal, it is in very good collaboration. Most of them, they are not coming to employ by themselves. They are working with some Senegalese. The only things we see these years, it is what the government is going to block. The Chinese companies are trying to go to buy directly from the farmers. And that makes some impact in the seed. That's to do this year, if you see the Senegal, decide to push the army to give the seed and to control the seed very well, because all of these years, the government was announcing the production of 1,700,000 tons, but in the end, we find we get less than 1,000,000 tons. So that is due to two things. The seed was not in the good quality, and also the seed announced in the farmer's hand was not true, so they changed that system. That means this year, the commercialization will be in control. And it will have some rules to get that control very fine. Yes.
Is Senegal peanut is exporting to any nearby African countries?
Not too much. No, but Senegalese are importing the peanut from other African countries to satisfy the demand of the contracts they have sometimes with Chinese. But it's very little to see the peanuts of Senegal going out of Senegal to African countries, not too much.
As Mr. Jahid said that Mozambique peanut is having good opportunity at the South Africa market. So do you think any opportunity there?
I think this time the Chinese control the market of Senegal. It will be very difficult to try to sell, to try to get it out of this hand. This time, what I know, the peanuts is in 3 levels in Senegal. It is the oil factory, Chinese market, and people who are working in seed. But the main control is in Chinese market, because most of the factories in Senegal who are making the selling peanuts are working with Chinese factory. That's due. Definitely the government decide, because all of the oil factories didn't work since 2 years. They don't have the capacity to produce, and that is making a lot of people losing their job. So definitely these years, I think it will be the time for the oil companies to get first before any others market.
Mr. Islam, as we know that a lot of problems in Sudan nowadays due to civil war and everything. So what do you think about it? And I heard that a lot of people lost their job and a lot of people migrated back to their countries like India and other countries. So what do you think about this?
So yeah, the war has been a catastrophe for the whole country in every way. Like people, lives have been lost. People losing their jobs and their house and everything, and a lot of displacement within the country and outside the country too. If we're gonna relate it to peanuts, the numbers tell a lot. The production numbers have increased more than 60% since the war started. The cost of logistics are even higher now. Trying to transfer the peanuts from the production area to the processing area is difficult because the logistic prices are high, and then trying to get it from the process area to Port Sudan in the east, where the peanuts is exported, you have to pass through areas where the militia is controlling, and then they will ask you to pay unofficial taxes so your goods can pass safely. So all these costs added are making it difficult for the prices in Sudan to be competitive in general. And then given that, as you all know, the international prices have not gone up that much, Sudan costs have gone up. Nothing. It's a country where a lot of the manufacturing things have been destroyed, so a lot of things are imported. So you can assume that every prices have gone up very high, and then we also have an issue with logistics. Logistics prices have gone up. Transit time due to issues in the Red Sea have gone up also. So the goods take time to go to, let's say, the other destinations. And then it's just that a lot of issues we're facing outside that are external to what we can do as exporters or producers or farmers. So it is causing a big issue. A lot of the processing plants have been destroyed, so it's taking a bit of time to get the peanuts from raw to different aspects of whether it's split or kernel or going to be pressed or oil or meal. So these are also issues that we are facing. But some exporters, some oil manufacturers are gonna move they're gonna try to move their plants to areas which are safer at the moment to try to maybe increase the production, increase the process and the speed. But it is a big issue for us, the war, to be honest. It affected the industry big time. But peanuts is a big main source for agriculture in Sudan, and the farmers have been trying to produce this season. Even if it's less, they're still producing.
So the plantation and everything will be affected, right?
Yeah, everything will be affected. You can tell the planting has gone down. Even the post-harvest loss is even more because sometimes some area, for example, if it's time to harvest and there's conflict going on and clashes, you'll find it hard to find labor to help you harvest your goods. So that will cause more loss when it comes to harvesting. Even like, for example, some goods are lost, and some goods they're too expensive to buy and export. So that's why.
Mr. Monik, I wanted to ask you about future trend of peanut oil from India to many other markets like China and other countries also.
Peanut oil is growing year on year. That is what we are expecting. And this year also the crop looks quite optimistic and positive. And still the demand is there from China as of now as well. But the good quality cargo is not available with low acid value. So that is the challenge we are facing right now. But I think after months' time, we will get good quality cargo available from the new crop, and demand is going to increase for sure.
Monik bhai, as lot many peanut butter factories are coming up in Gujarat and other states also. So what are your opinions about this peanut butter market, which is really emerging market for Indian exporters?
Peanut butter is a very good market at this point of time. But the biggest challenge Indian processors are facing is the consumption of peanut butter in India is not growing drastically. It is with a very small segment where people with concentrated on health issues are diverted or converted to peanut butter. But yeah, exports, as we know, US is the biggest market for peanut butter, and we have got the most cheapest cargo and the best quality cargo available with us. We will surely going to drive that market, and we're going to be the market leader for at least exports in peanut butter.
Here is one question related to Tanzania and Mozambique peanut differences, price differences. Mr. Jahid, I think you can answer it better. Question is that why is there is price difference between Tanzania peanut and Mozambique peanut, given that they are similar quality and going to the same market?
See, Mozambique peanuts, normally our farmers have a practice to deshell by hand. So in Mozambique, we have a very limited split percentage. Normally, there is hardly 1% of split or less than 1% of split. So we are getting some little premium on that one. Other side, from Tanzania, we have seen the farmers are using small machine for deshelling. So that increasing the split percent. So just price difference because of there is a lot of splits are there. That's making a Tanzanian price cheaper than Mozambique.
I think almost all questions has been answered. And is there any other questions pending? It's okay. Then, thank you.
This is it, sir. Thank you so much. Before you all leave the stage, I request you to be here for a few minutes. We finally have that video online, everyone. Let's have a look at what Mr. Fonseca compiled for us.
It's a Brazilian COP of peanut growers, and I'm here today to share with you some numbers of the Brazilian crop. But first of all, I would like to thank you in the name of Svartsava and Swapna for this invitation to take part in the World Sesame and Peanut Conference 2024. Okay, let me share my screen with you. Just a second. Okay, here we go. I will show you a Brazilian map in order to give you the right location of the Brazilian crop. Here it is. São Paulo is the main producer, okay, the São Paulo state. Brazil has 26 states, and the capital, Brasilia, it's right in the middle of the country, okay? So we have mainly 4 states producing peanuts. São Paulo has 83% of this area. It means 250,000 hectares. Then comes Minas Gerais with 18,000 hectares, followed by Mato Grosso do Sul, 1,200 hectares, 12,000 hectares, sorry, and Mato Grosso with 6,000 hectares, okay? The main varieties that we are producing and we focus in the exports is the runner high lake varieties. The 3 main varieties is IAC OL3 with 120 days of cycle, Granoleico that is imported from Argentina, 130 days is the cycle, and IAC 503, 140 days of cycle. The main calibers are the jumbo, the 3842, splits, and the 5060. Planting and harvesting schedule. Sowing, we start in the beginning of the raining season that normally comes in the end of September. It's our spring, okay? So during October and November, sowing is concentrated in these 2 months. There is no irrigation. I would say that less than 1% of the areas in Brazil is irrigated, okay? So by March and April, we have the fields ready to be harvested. And then from May, June onwards, we have the dry season that we call that since until June up to September, there's no rain in Brazil. So at this time, we do not have any crop, peanut crop, okay? I'm bringing some numbers of the last 4 crops, and then we have an estimative for the next one. So Brazil is moving and developing fast. The peanut industry, I would say to you, increasing 15% in the last 10, 12 years, okay? So the last crop, our estimative that Brazil has planted 300,000 hectares, and there is a great possibility to increase about 20% in 2024, 2025, okay? The main reason I would say that is about prices. Soybean, that is very common in Brazil and strong production. The prices are not that attractive for the growers. So there are several soybean growers that are interested to try peanuts because prices in the last two years has been quite attractive to them. So probably we're gonna have area increase, okay? So I'm gonna leave these numbers with you. I hope to share to everybody this presentation, and any questions you have for the Q&A, just keep me posted, okay? In terms of exports, the main destinations are for oil. China is taking almost 80% of the Brazilian peanut oil, Italy with 20%, and others 1%. In terms of edibles, Russia is our main destination, then European Union, Algeria with 15%, and others 27%. I would like to thank you, and I'm ready to try to clarify any doubts that you can have about the Brazilian crop. Thank you very much.